Caution! This reaction video will not contain facecam, and I will also make a lot of pauses to give my thoughts. If you want a video free of pausing, I advise you either watch the original video first by clicking the link in the description before watching this video, or click off altogether. However, I will do my best to rewind at least 5 seconds every time I pause. Ideally, I'd love to make unedited reaction videos, but distractions and awkward silences are all too common for me to ignore. I won't be cutting out anything integral, so don't worry. And with that, on with the reaction. Hello YouTube, I'm Rose, and welcome to a very different video than you're used to. Yes, I am officially doing my first reaction video. I plan to react to more stuff alongside gaming, just to spice things up a bit. For my first ever reaction, I thought I'd react to an asexual video in the spirit of Pride Month. Now, responding to asexual hate comments might sound an odd and frankly unwise thing to react to, but it caught my eye, and I hadn't come across any other relevant Pride videos until this happened upon my feed today. Or was it yesterday? Regardless. Now's the best time to react to this, even if I will definitely get heated about it. Alright, let's see what horrible, horrible things are said, though I've probably heard most if not all of these things, but it wouldn't surprise me if something especially heinous was new to me. Alright, let's go.
Ladies, gentlemen and MPs, just a quick heads up that this video contains some pretty rampant aphobia.
Of course it does. I mean, otherwise it wouldn't be an asexual hate comment video. But what I love is that he said envies. That just makes me very happy. Anyway.
Ladies, gentlemen and MPs, just a quick heads up that this video contains some pretty rampant aphobia. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming you've read what the title is.
Yes.
Also some other general queerphobia, because these losers don't tend to just pick one. Hi folks, I'm wearing the purple shirt again, which can only mean one thing. We're looking at asexual stuff again!
Yay!
Specifically today, I'm going to be looking at some aphobic hate comments I got. Yes, some people said some not very nice stuff to me about my sexual identity this year.
Oh.
And like a good YouTuber, I've decided to mine it for content. Look, I just need a couple of easier things to close out the year. I'm pretty tired.
When was this? Ah, that's what I thought. I thought it was last year.
And what could be more relaxing than looking at times that people were mean to me on the internet?
Oh my gosh.
But before we get into this...
I saw that.
...to me on the internet.
Yeah. That's the reaction of, oh god, please someone end my suffering right now before I do it myself. Yep. I know that. I know that feel.
Times that people were mean to me on the internet.
Ugh.
But before we get into this, let's just clarify exactly what it is that I'm doing here. This is scripted, so you won't find me giving spontaneous reactions to these like a lot of people tend to do when they do comment reaction videos.
That's fair.
I've hidden the usernames of anyone who commented just in case.
That also is very fair and very kind, although knowing how said losers work, they'll probably recognize what they said, unless they're just too idiotic to remember, which I wouldn't be surprised.
And also, you should know that these comments are now actually hidden from the channel.
Oh, okay.
Because a lot of ace people come to my videos looking for solidarity and validation, and I don't want to leave stuff in there that might hurt them.
Awesome. You are an awesome person for doing that.
Videos looking for solidarity and validation, and I don't want to leave stuff in there that might hurt them. Same goes for any comments directing hate at any group. My comment section is not open to intolerance. I've also been pretty selective about which comments I actually want to respond to because I want to have stuff to say, and what benefit is there in responding to comments like,
I hate asexuals. Lol, this shit is so fake.
Comments like,
I hate...
Okay. Okay, first of all, I love the color coordination. Oh my gosh. Okay, why? Why do you hate asexuals? What reason do you have to hate asexuals? They literally do no one. Why do you hate the fact that they're not doing anyone? How is that your problem? And as far as being fake, just because you are not used to it doesn't mean it's not real.
Asexuals. Lol, this shit is so fake.
Because there's no such thing as asexuality.
Oh yeah, just like there's no such thing as any other sexuality, because apparently sexuality is confined to a binary, for lack of a better word, and therefore it can't be a spectrum. Okay, cool.
Asexual men just have a tiny dick.
Oh my gosh, why? That is so rude. That doesn't even make sense scientifically and logically and whatever else. What? How would the size of one's genitals have anything to do with sexual attraction? That the two are not connected whatsoever. People of any size genitalia can have a whole range of attraction.
I mean, there's just nothing to say there beyond naff off, you charmless nerks. And I never really want this channel to be saying nothing.
Yeah.
Especially when it's on this topic that is so important to me. So basically, if you came here looking for short, witty clapbacks, then this isn't the video for you. I have never had a wit, and I would not know what to do with one if I found it. Does it go in your car? Just one last...
I think that was a I don't know what you would even call that, but I know there's a word for it. I just can't think of it. I think that very sentence completely contradicts what he's saying, but in a good way, which is hilarious.
Just one last piece of housekeeping that I want to go over, but don't have any specific comments saved to highlight. A number of people wanted to let me know something about my ace flag. It seems that the purple stripe on the bottom is just a bit too pink, which makes it strongly resemble the flag for gynophilia.
Oh.
This is a label that people use to say that they are attracted to women and femininity.
Yeah.
And I can see why people looking at my ace flag might think this, and comment it to me over, and over, and over. But I assure you, it's just a printing error.
Okay, this is just me, but if I were in that situation, I would 100% like get a refund if I can, and buy a whole new flag because. Oh wait, okay, so it was okay. Hang on. Oh, hang on. I need to keep going. I'm getting ahead of myself, apparently.
And
Cat,
over.
don't sniff
But I
the
assure
mic.
you, it's just a printing error. This flag was bought for me from a queer bookshop and was labelled asexual.
Oh.
And then, once I got all those comments, I decided to order a new one just to shut
good.
people up.
Yay.
And I ordered it from the UK's biggest pride shop, and hey, guess what?
Oh no.
It's the exact same thing.
Oh my gosh.
They just print them badly. I don't know what to tell you. This is what happens when the symbols that are used to represent your valid sexual identities are made in sweatshops so that capitalists can use them to exploit a quick buck out of you.
Oh my god. I hate money. I hate money. I hate money. I hate money. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Well, I guess there goes my opportunity to buy my own flags, although I don't really have a space to put them anywhere, so that does me no good anyway.
Yes, I even found a way to be mad about capitalism in this video.
Good,
But
as
on the
you
plus
should.
side, I have ordered a new one from Etsy yesterday, so hopefully that one will be the right colour.
Fingers crossed. I know this is like a year old, but fingers crossed.
Maybe I'm just doomed to have the world's largest collection of incorrect ace flags.
Oh god. Oh my god, could you imagine? That would suck.
So, with all that out of the way, let's not prevaricate around the bush. Let's just dive right into this.
Here follows an unpopular but very well thought through opinion for y'all acers, demis, and whatnot. Whether valid or not, asexuality and aromantic and everything akin to it are rather useless identity labels. They're terribly abstract, and to build a sense of self around a lack of interest or lack of an experience mostly just is nonsensical and pointless.
Okay. To you, it's pointless because you cannot identify with it. But for people like us, we like, well, okay, not all of us like labels. I like labels. I love labels. Having labels is one of the most satisfying and relieving and validating things that you can have. Even if it's inane, it's just, it feels good. And it's like, hey, that's me. And It's great. Okay, this word, this is not a word that, as far as I'm aware. It's aces. If you're gonna hate on us, get it right.
Interest or lack of an experience mostly just is nonsensical and pointless. It also has no legitimate place of representation in the LGBT community as an identifier, just like not really liking soccer doesn't belong there. Yes.
What? Okay. My God. It's 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 asexuality. Puns. It's asexuality. It exists. It's a thing. It's called a spectrum. Just because white and black are either all colors or no colors, that doesn't mean they aren't colors. They're still colors. They're still part of the color spectrum. Please stop. Please stop invalidating us. Just let us have what we want, which is acceptance. Just accept us. We are people. Just let us be people. We accept you as people. Why can't you accept us as people?
Most of the world population enjoys soccer, so me not liking it does generally make me the odd one out. But I don't take my sense of self from that lack of passion. The constructive thing...
Well then, fine, that's you. You don't need to do that. Some people want to identify as a non-soccer player, or, like, enthusiast, whatever you want to call it.
to do is to try to find oneself and things one does enjoy, so...
That's the point! We do enjoy the fact that we are ace. If you go to the asexuality subreddit or in one of the asexuality Facebook groups, we clearly enjoy not being a part of allosexuality. And allosexuality, in case you don't know, is anyone who is not an asexual. So, yeah, we enjoy that. We define ourselves with that for a reason. Because this stuff is so basic and people just don't get it.
So I'd partly define myself rather by my passion for dance than my lack of enthusiasm for soccer. In the same way, my sexual and therefore romantic attraction, passion, and special feelings towards a multitude of guys greatly define me in being gay. Not so much my lack of all that in relation to women. A chair is a chair, mainly because of its chairness, not because it isn't a couch, even if that is still a prerequisite to it. So the statement I am making ultimately is that I'm not very interested in what you are not and what you don't experience, but rather in what you are and what you do experience, as that is what truly matters to me.
Well, good for you, but see, here's the thing. If you want to have sex with me, you can't. In some cases, not all asexuals are like this, but in my case, I don't want to have sex with you. So how am I supposed to tell you that I do not experience sexual attraction to you? What, I don't experience sexual attraction to you? Or anyone else? How am I supposed to simplify that? Gee, I wonder if there's a certain word for it. Oh yeah, it's called asexuality.
Okay, yikes, so there's a few things to unpack here. First of all, you have to love when someone starts off by telling you just how well thought out their comment is.
Wait, I need to go back, because now I don't remember what they said. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I hate it when people think they're so cool. You know what it's like been listening to him over and over? I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself but reference Spyro. Anyway.
First of all, you have to love when someone starts off by telling you just how well thought out their comment is. Like, there's no red flags there.
No, none at all. All green across the board.
Not at all. No, sir. Then they say whether valid or not, and I just want to make it perfectly clear that the validity of any and all aspec identities is not a point that is up for debate.
Nope.
I don't have to argue against that, we have nothing to prove there. But okay, so the general point here is that defining yourself as asexual is dumb because it's based on what you don't experience, and you should define yourself on what you are interested in. Be defined by your love of dance, not your disinterest in football. And no, I won't call it the S word, how dare you even suggest that?
It's okay. It's alright. It's cool. Culture is culture. I'm not gonna get mad. Words are words. Who cares?
This is England, not America. What are you talking about? America!
But isn't this just a massive false equivalency? Because your sexuality isn't quite like your interest in football, is it?
No.
You can learn and choose hobbies based on what you want to do with your time, but your sexuality is just an innate thing. It's part of who you are without any outside influence. It just is there.
Yep.
Plus, if you don't like the football, you can just not watch.
Yeah, and it's not so easy to just not have sex. Because, well, I mean, first of all, apparently, raking hormones are just impossible to ignore. And second of all, the R word, I don't really want to say because it's icky.
But allonormativity is damn near impossible to avoid.
Yep.
The world is a very sexual place.
Yep.
You can read almost any book, watch almost any TV show or movie, or just scroll on Twitter for a bit, and you will find people, both straight and normal, telling you just how important sex is.
Yes, and that is what is so infuriating and so invalidating, because they make it seem like it's not normal. But I'd argue that in a lot of cases, not in all cases, it's abnormal to be so hyper-focused on sex.
For instance, here's a moment from one of my favourite shows, Frasier.
It's not like men have never used sex to get what they want.
How can we possibly use sex to get what we want? Sex is what we want!
See, it's a funny joke, because Frasier is obsessed with sex, and that's just what's considered to be normal.
Yep.
So normal, in fact, that he can state it as though it's a universal truth.
Yep.
And this is what living in the world is kind of like.
Yep.
People are constantly yelling at you that sex is the only thing that makes a relationship with another human being worthwhile. And if you don't experience that, don't have the desire for that, then you are in a minority and you're constantly being told that what you experience is wrong and that it's deeply weird, and of course it will form a major part of your identity.
Yeah. It's really hard. It's really hard for me to be, well, first of all, I am asexual, but I'm also apothesexual, so being repulsed already, it's like, how do I even describe it? It's like everywhere you turn, there's literal poop. Everything is just poop. And it stinks in more ways than one. There is no shovel. There is no baggie. There's nothing. It's just there. And it piles up. And it piles up. And you can't escape it. You're just covered in filth. The only reason why I correlate sex to poop is not because, like, I'm trying to explain it in a way where I'm not saying, like, oh yeah, it's gross, it's disgusting, whatever. It just is to me because I'm repulsed. Not because I think you are, but just, man, I don't know how to explain it. It's just hard.
So is it weird to build a sense of identity around not experiencing something that the world is constantly telling you that you should experience? Nah. Plus, if, as your comment suggests, you are a cis gay man, then you should probably recognise this from how the world is built around straight people, and now you're an outsider to that.
Yeah! See? You complain about asexuality being such a minority thing, and yet you, if he is correct, and you are gay, you're also an outsider, so shut up.
Man, then you should probably recognise this from how the world is built around straight people, and now you're an outsider to that. Which is also why aspec people are part of the queer community.
Yep.
Okay, I've put a couple together here because they're on a pretty similar theme.
Okay.
2 seconds in, purple gentle sursuit. Definitely an SJW video.
Okay.
Asexual people are useless, but maybe a way to combat overpopulation.
Oh, good God. Oh, my God. Okay. First of all, that is just... I can't even begin to go into depth at how disgusting that comment, that last part is. You are literally saying that you're only useful if you have sex. You must be the type of person who thinks that our only purpose in life is to procreate, basically, and nothing else matters. Just why?
Asexual people are useless, but maybe a way to combat overpopulation.
Asexuality is dumb like homosexuality. If you believe in evolution, then you're devolving, lol.
What? I'm sorry. What? Wow. Wow. Wow.
Good luck not having your genes passed down. It's the basis of life.
No, it's not. That's not the only thing in the world. If you think that life is only worth passing your genes down because the animals pass their genes down, you are a sad, sad individual. Will you truly be happy knowing that you've passed down your genes? Will you be happy knowing that you've have a purpose in life, or that you fulfilled your purpose in life? And I don't mean passing down your genes. I mean something else, something more meaningful. That is just a basic thing, like almost anyone could do if they don't have some kind of medical issue. That's bare minimum. And if that's the bar that you have to hit to say, oh yeah, I'm good, that's a really low bar.
As you can see from one of these comments, this is something that is thrown at all sorts of queer folks, not just ace people. The idea that because we aren't generally breeding, that we are somehow less worthwhile than cishet people?
Cishet, okay.
But queer people can have kids if they want to?
Now I kind of understand why the... I forget what they're called now. They don't like having kids. They're against it. I kind of get why they think that now, because yeah, there are a lot of kids out there who have no parents and are orphans and totally deserve good parents that aren't theirs, because they deserve love too. And yeah, queer people can have kids. And honestly, even though having the love of a parent who formed you is literally the best kind of love you can get, I think a love that is equal to that is someone who didn't form you and loves you anyway.
Just because you aren't a cisgender heterosexual couple doesn't mean you are incapable of having children. Surrogates and sperm donors have existed for a long time, you know?
Yep.
As for ace people specifically, a lot of them do have kids. Just because you can't feel sexual attraction doesn't mean that you can't actually have sex. And if you want to have a family with a partner, then that is one way to do it.
Yep.
There's really no reason to assume that queer people are somehow stunting the growth of humanity.
Yeah.
Also,
that's just really illogical to think about. Boaz, I'm trying to. That's just really illogical to assume. That's what all people seem to do. They just make assumptions on an entire group. Like, why? Why is that a thing? Why can't people realize that a stereotype, I guess, does not apply to everyone? It is just a stereotype. It just exists. It was formulated because a bunch of people did it, and now it's known. But it doesn't mean that everyone does it. So thereby, not all asexuals refuse to have sex. They're not celibate.
Reason to assume that queer people are somehow stunting the growth of humanity. Also, it's perfectly valid to not want kids.
This. I mean, like, right now, my cat is basically my son, and I love him dearly, but I want to throttle him because he's annoying me. I, as a parent, could not do that with my own kids. That is a much the larger responsibility than having a cat. It's still a lot of responsibility, but not quite the same. And I, being 29, recognize that I am nowhere near ready to have kids. And I probably will never be ready to have kids because I can barely take care of myself. So why on earth would I want to subject myself to potentially raising either a bad kid or just raising them poorly or, like, I don't know, traumatizing them like my stepmom did me? No. No thanks. I don't want to do that. If I'm going to bring life into this world, I want to do it meaningfully. Meaningfully. Oh my gosh.
Having kids doesn't have to be the ultimate end goal of life.
Nope.
I mean, what of art? What of music? What of collecting Frankenstein action figures? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio.
The cactus analogy doesn't make sense, though.
Okay, this obviously is information that I've not seen and involves a previous video, so I'm probably gonna have to watch that. Boaz, I am going to drop kick you. I love you, cat. Okay, anyway.
No one generally has sexual urge toward cacti, but in the video, you say that you feel sexual urges and watch pornography and masturbate, presumably to other people having sex.
Oh.
So it's clearly something that produces a pleasurable experience in you. Naturally, it wouldn't be unreasonable to expect that actually having sex would also be enjoyable. Do you think it's possible for some ace people to use their sexual identity as a coping mechanism for not having found the right/any person?
Oh my god. There is no right person. It is not something you can fix. I mean, maybe in some cases, in probably rare cases, this might be true. But it does not, again, like with stereotypes, it does not apply to all asexual people. Some people are just not sexually attracted to other people. Period. They don't have a medical condition. They don't have trauma. They just aren't sexually attracted to people. That's just how it is. Sorry.
Is it an easier pill to swallow to say, I'm not sexually attracted to anyone, rather than no one is sexually attracted to me?
The cactus analogy mentioned is in specific reference to a bit from my video, Maybe You Haven't Met the Right Person Yet.
Okay,
Have you
thank
ever
you.
wanted to fuck a cactus? No. Well, maybe you haven't met the right cactus yet.
Okay, wait. Going back. Okay, the cactus analogy doesn't make sense, though. No one generally has it. Are you dumb? It was... That was rude. I'm sorry, but... It was an analogy for a reason. The cactus represents a person. The person that is meant to act as the perfect person to unlock some kind of crazy sexual urges and asexual, apparently. That's what it... Oh my gosh.
No. Well, maybe you haven't met the right cactus yet.
And I really don't think this person understood it.
No, they did not.
It sucks when you have to explain the joke,
Yep.
but if it helps to clarify the points that I'm trying to teach, then I guess we're just gonna have to.
Yep.
So I've talked about this at greater length before, but attraction and libido are two different things.
Yes, they are. Unfortunately.
I can masturbate for the pleasurable physical experience of that and still not feel sexual attraction towards other people.
Yeah. Just, yes.
But people do what this comment is trying to do and suggest that it means that we must want sex. That someone could come along and make us feel those things that we don't. Something that some people are genuinely physically repulsed by.
Yep.
We know our own bodies,
Yes.
and we know what we want, but people consistently try to tell us that we don't. And that's where the cactus analogy comes in.
And it's not okay to tell us what our bodies want. You are not in our bodies. You do not have our bodies. You are not allowed, nor get to say what we want. Am I allowed to tell you that you're not allowed to have any sexual attraction to anyone, or feel any sexual urges? That's not okay, right? So why are you allowed to tell me what I should feel?
Because that people don't feel sexual attraction towards a cactus is literally the joke.
Yep.
I actually somehow ended up acquiring 2 cacti this year. I gotta say, they're pretty good. I don't want to fuck them, but as to the other point, are we saying I'm not sexually attracted to someone to deflect from no one is sexually attracted to me? And look, this is probably going to be the most conceited thing I'm ever likely to say on this channel, but we all know that's not true. I am tall, I've been getting into better shape lately, I'm conventionally handsome, I'm funny, patient, and I try my best to be kind. Let's be honest, I could get it, but I don't want it, and I don't know why that's so hard for people to understand. But maybe you don't want to let me get all big-headed like that. You want to tell me that actually I'm a gross spud that no one could ever simp for. Fair enough. You want to tell me that actually I'm a gross spud that no one could ever simp for. Fair enough. Let's look at another example. Yasmin Benoit is one of the most prominent figures in the ace and aro communities. She has spoken a great deal about how she feels neither sexual nor romantic attraction, and she's raised a lot of awareness. She's also a model. Now, are you seriously trying to tell me that no one is sexually attracted to a woman who is literally conventionally attractive for a job? I really shouldn't have to explain the lack of correlation between whether or not you are sexually attracted to people and whether or not people are sexually attracted to you.
Yeah.
It's really basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also, because I know this is something Yasmin gets thrown to quite a lot, because people are quite severely critical of this young queer woman of colour for some reason. But you can want to look good and attractive and not be a sexual person. Sometimes you just want to look good for yourself, you know? I mean, sure. I don't put on this purple Gentle Sir suit for you.
Why is she dressed that way then? Because it's hot in here and so am I right?
And asexuality. Well, asexuality is not like homosexuality or heterosexuality. If some boy in 14 years loves girls, he is hetero/bi. If he loves other boys, he's homo/bi. It's not gonna change. What? But if somebody in 14 years says, I am asexual, you can laugh this person in a face.
Can I laugh in your face instead?
Some people can't find their lust even in 20 years and then they just discover it. And some people don't, the true asexuals. And that's fine. You're just another idiot who has nothing to do but looking for excuses to be offended.
It's true. I love being
offended.
Always looking for
excuses.
But okay, this is something that actually is worth talking about. Young people who identify as ace. In a recent survey conducted by the Trevor Project, it was found that as many as 1 in 10 young queer people identify as aspec.
Wow.
So young ace people definitely do exist and are valid. But is there the chance that they might stop identifying that way later on? Sure.
Yeah.
I've said as much before in my Q&A video. When you're a teenager, there's all these changes happening in your body and like hormones flying around going crazy. It's pretty normal to settle on something different later on.
Yeah, see, I was ace before I even knew what asexuality was. And I'm 29. I've been technically ace since freaking sophomore year. So yeah, that's when I discovered that I was ace, because I specifically remember just saying, well, I called it celibacy, but it wasn't celibacy. I was completely repulsed way back then. It's not just a phase.
But here's the thing that you might not realise about that.
Boaz,
if
no.
you stop identifying as ace later on, it doesn't make the time that you did identify that way any less valid. The same with any other way that you might identify. Identity is a fluid thing. It changes for everyone over time, even if it's only a little bit.
Yep.
All that really matters is that you are comfortable in yourself in the present.
Yep.
Asexuals grate on my nerves because you all think you're high and mighty for not having sex, and you all can be extremely homophobic.
Okay, first of all, that is your projection onto us. Because what you probably see, minus the last part because I can't speak to that, but you probably see us being happy and euphoric, and you, not being asexual, you envy that, and you want that for yourself, but you can't have that. A lot of us, as far as I can tell, are not like that. We do not think we're high and mighty. There are probably some, and those people are not cool, but we all don't think that. We don't think we're all high and mighty. we just don't feel any attraction sexually to anyone.
Pretending like asexuality is as big a deal as homosexuality or bisexuality when it's pretty much affects nothing. Laugh my ass off. Wow! You don't have sex or sexual attraction? That's crazy! Not.
Oh, you wound me with your sick not. Okay, so I feel like it should go without saying that I don't actually think I'm somehow superior to other people because I don't feel sexual attraction. But it is a big deal, actually, for the people who experience it. If you think that sexual attraction affects basically nothing, then I feel like you're just not paying attention to the world.
Yep.
There isn't some hierarchy of who gets to be the most valid queer identity and what matters the most to each person. One of the big issues facing queer discourse is when people of one identity try to invalidate others and claim that we're invading their spaces.
Yeah.
And when you're one of the underrepresented groups within that, then it can feel like it's being targeted at you a lot more often. And frankly, we need to cut it out. At that point, we're just doing the bigots' work for them when we should be supporting each other.
Mm-hmm.
We are stronger together and we need to stop driving each other apart. Okay, so this next one is really long. Like, really, really long.
Oh.
So I've broken it up bit by bit just to make it a bit easier to deal with.
Okay.
I should probably also clarify that at the start, what they're responding to is the episode of House that I talked about in the video that they're commenting on.
Oh,
The
that's why
tumor
you
on
look
the
familiar.
pituitary gland wouldn't cause disinterest in sex. The brain's not organized so neatly. Maybe it's the hypothalamus. Might have some dopaminergic problem. Sorry, problem?
Are you a student of medicine or something? Or are you just like really knowledgeable? Because it's either that or you're just trying to sound smart. I don't know which.
I meant moral virtue, because the only unbiased way of presenting asexuality, apparently, is to show it as some product of higher reasoning, which makes one whole only insofar as they understand their wholeness, is still dependent on sex, in that it is defined by a total lack of interest in it. Wholly meaningless platitudes, Batman.
I find it to be quite a meaningful platitude, actually. But okay, so I don't think that being ace makes you whole or somehow lets you function at a higher level than the allos.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that's not true. I'm ace, and look at me. I'm an Egypt. Yeah, your sexuality has no bearing on your intelligence or reasoning, no matter how... your sexuality has no bearing on your intelligence or reasoning, no matter how often straight people seem to think that it does.
Why do they? Why do they think that? Is it because they think that their sexuality has a bearing on intelligence and reasoning, and that's why they think that of us, or something else entirely?
One of the reasons that we might need the kind of positive affirmation that I like to make in my videos is that so many people will tell you that actually, yes, you do need sex to make you whole, that it's just kind of refreshing to be told that you don't. For instance, here is a clip from a video that Queer as Cat released a few years ago where they went to Pride and were confronted by the living embodiment of aphobia.
Same thing.
Not at all. It's not, we're talking about sex, not gay sex, not heterosexual sex, not any other kind. We're just talking about sex.
Okay.
I have met multiple women that I have been very attracted to emotionally, spiritually, physically, and the sex is just the pinnacle of that. That's where children are supposed to come from, the expression of love.
I mean, this guy ticked off like every box on the checklist. It is crazy.
Wow.
So when you can have, at a Pride event no less, someone coming up to you and telling you that actually you do need sex or there is something wrong with you, then yeah, it's pretty meaningful to have someone tell you that you are normal to not need it.
I get the feeling the reason pansexuals and bisexuals stay so quiet is because they're horny enough to crack all your stupid social codes. I, for one, had to become a behavioral neuroscientist just to get the devil's freeway happening.
I'm sorry, what? I don't even want to know.
Is this person bragging about getting a doctorate specifically for the purposes of manipulating people into sex?
Oh, that's what that meant. Oh my god, that's... Someone tried to... How do I put this? They try to coerce me into their little fantasy in an asexual thread. That's what this is, but on a much, much worse scale. There is no word in the English language to express how disgusting that is.
That's
Yep.
concerning.
Wait, what was that last one? Sorry. Should I call? Yes, please do.
Concerning.
Yeah.
And a big part of why I censored the usernames in the comments on this video, because I don't want to accuse someone of that just based off of one YouTube comment, you know? As for that other thing they said, bi and pansexual people who are rad and valid are not so much quiet as they are talked over. I'm not about to try and speak for them, you should go and listen to them instead,
I just
as
spaced
they
out.
are talked over.
I just completely
People
spaced
who are
out.
rad and valid are not so much quiet as they are talked over.
Oh my gosh, though, like, all of the minorities are talked over. All the time. It's very frustrating. This isn't even talking about the queer community, I'm talking about all minorities. They are always, always talked over. Unless, for some weird reason, a minority is somehow also really loud. Which is very confusing. But if you're in certain fandoms and communities, you'll know what I mean.
I'm not about to try and speak for them, you should go and listen to them instead. As a suggestion, watch my friend Miss Lola's video about her relationship to her bisexuality. I'm in it, and I play the kind of person who would leave these comments.
At least Natalie from ContraPoints just straight up says, I want converts. Give me an honest narcissist over one who's apparently wholly unaware of or overly opaque about their biases. I mean, clearly you're biased towards asexuals, but you're also biased towards well-adjusted asexuals, and you're also biased against asexuality being in the brain, I guess, and tumors causing sexual dysfunction. I don't know. What's the point other than you watch too much TV and take it too seriously?
Wow. I was gonna comment on that, but I'm just so physically drained from all the hatred, and now it's just seeping into my very body. And
I don't know where this person gets the idea that I was trying to be unbiased. I was talking about an incredibly negative depiction of my own sexuality. Of course I'm biased about that. It's not some big gotcha moment to say that when it's never something that I claimed to be. Bias is not some inherently bad thing. We all have biases, both conscious and unconscious, that define what we do and the way that we see the world. Objectivity just isn't possible unless you're talking about facts like maths or something. The video on House was media analysis and therefore inherently subjective because, and this is the good part, there's no such thing as objective media criticism.
correct. That is objectively true, in and of itself.
Also, of course I'm biased towards well-adjusted asexuals. Why would I not want people to be adjusted in their sense of themselves? This is a very strange thing to try and pull me up on, that I want people to be okay, I guess? This comment was a lot. There was actually a little bit more to it after this, but I just didn't really have anything to say about the last bit, so just not gonna bother.
There.
Let's close this out with just one last mean thing that someone said to me.
Just accept already what you just a nature's way of shortening human population. That's why you are broken, and finally get on with it. You and the likes of you are not valid.
The only thing I have to say to that person is screw you. Just screw you. We have not fought literally years of your crap just to be told we're not valid. We are heckin' valid. Thank you very much. We're just not valid to you. And you know what? We don't need your validation. We have the validation of our peers, and that's all we need.
This one is just kinda hurtful, and I think a good place to say why I wanted to make a video like this. When you talk about being asexual, a lot of the time people will assume that you don't get the same level of hatred leveled at you as other queer identities get, or if you do, then it's just kind of not as bad. I wanted to make it clear that we do get this vitriol aimed at us, and it hurts.
Yep.
I gave examples of other people who received it as well, just to make it clear how widespread and common this is, even if you don't necessarily hear about it. Fortunately for me, I have enough of a thick skin that I can just see this stuff for the ignorant hatred that it is and ignore it.
I envy you, sir. I would love to have thick skin, but I don't. Because my abusers, in a sense, rubbed it out of me. So, yeah.
Or collate it together and use it for monetizable content. To all the beautiful aspecs out there, to all the wonderful queer people who might watch this, all I can say is never believe these comments. It sucks. They're horrid and evil and vile, and they hurt. But they're wrong. There will always be people out there who are trying to tell you that you are not valid. But you are here. You are real.
Yep.
You are valid. And you know it.
Asexual men just have a tiny dick. Why does it say A? It probably says A. Say, asexual men have a tiny dick. Like, they all share one dick. Like, they all just have one tiny... That's not how grammar works.
I forgot to put this into the script so it's not actually recorded on camera, but I should say that the wonderful voices who voiced all the terrible comments in this video are all asexual content creators, and they're all wonderful, and there's going to be links in the etc. so that you can check out some of their stuff. I would like to give an extra special thanks to my Ghost of Frankenstein patron, William Gray, my Son of Frankenstein patrons, Chris Harbour and Van der Mothra, and my Bride of Frankenstein patrons whose names are appearing on the screen right now. If you'd like to join these kind people in supporting my channel, then head to patreon.com/DavidJBradley or click the link that appears at the end of the video. If you do, then you'll get to see the videos early, you'll get exclusive bloopers, and you'll get access to my private Discord server, where there are memes, pictures of my cat, and sometimes I host movie nights for the friendly folks over there. If you don't want to do that, then you can still help the channel a great deal by liking, commenting, subscribing, or clicking one of the videos that'll pop up right now.
Yeah, that... Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, so that was a lot. The reason why I stayed for all of that, in case anyone leaves at that point like I do, is because I never know what is going to be next. So in my case, whenever I am watching reaction videos, I'm always like, no, stay to the end because I know there's going to be something good. But I didn't want to do that to you guys. So I'm not going to do that in my reaction videos. Even though I hate it, I'm going to watch the entirety of a video, except for this part, because I know what it is. It's going to be this entire end screen. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, yeah, I am physically drained. And now I know why he was familiar, and I just didn't realize it. It's because I literally watched this video. I hated this episode. Hated it. It sucked. It was stupid. I was hoping that it was positive, and it wasn't, and I wanted to just yeet my mom's TV out of the window. I just, wow. Anyway, I am now physically drained, as I said before. All of those hate comments drained me, and I should have known that, but I did not care. I wanted to express myself for Pride Month. Also, my cat was annoying me the entire time, and now that it's ended, he's finally decided to just chill. Brat. Man, a lot of those were just downright ugly. Downright ugly. It's comments like those that legitimately make me hate people sometimes. I don't want to. I want to love people, but when they're so full of hatred and ignorance, it just pisses me off. I mean, I had someone not too long ago try to tell me what. No, it was not too long ago, but it was so long ago that I can't remember because I was trying to push it out of my mind. What the heck did they try to tell me? Like, okay, they were contradicting themselves. I'm starting to remember now. They said they accepted me, but in the same breath, they said that I didn't exist. And not only that, they it was a double whammy because they were attacking my sexuality and my gender. It's funny because at the time that I was talking to that person, I had not yet discovered what my gender actually was. I had only discovered it afterwards. But that's a whole other topic that I don't feel like getting into because that's not part of the topic. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time.